Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Promotion Playbook. We are here for our final live of the year. Yes, this is the last one I'm doing. I'm taking December off. So this is our last LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live, Facebook Live of the year. And we are finishing up the 4 sessions of the Promotion Playbook today. So whether you're joining me live right now, catching the replay later, I'm so glad you're here for this. I'd love you to say hi in the chat wherever you're. Let me know where you're joining from as well. Let's just settle in though and take stock because we're finishing with a big one today. This is the piece of the puzzle of promotion that sticks everything else we've talked about together. And if this is your first time joining, let me just take a moment to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Toni Collis. I'm an executive coach for women in tech, women's leadership expert, board advisor, former talk executive. Basically, I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, coached over 1,000 women who are in the tech sector, who are in leadership positions, going into more senior positions. And my mission is to help brilliant women just like you step out of overwork, overwhelm, over-delivering, over-proving, and into strategic, visibility, well-supported leadership roles where you get stuff done, but don't burn out as a result. You deserve to make the impact that you want to make. And I want to make sure you do that. And part of that is being in the right role. So that is why we're here for the fourth and final part of my series on the Promotion Playbook. This series has been designed to take you from I'm performing to I'm promoted. And I would love to know if you've been implementing what we've been talking about over the last 3 episodes of this. How is it going? What's going on? Drop in the chat. Let me know. What have you tried? What's worked? What's not worked? What was like, oh, aha, I should have done that and I haven't been doing that? Or is there something you've been doing and it's that I've told you to do and it doesn't work for you? Sometimes we need tailored support. So let me know in the chat if you've tried something and it didn't work, because that is also really, really important. What I'm talking about is a package that works most of the time. But as a coach, I'm a true believer in an individualized result, right? You have to make the decisions that are going to work for you. There is no one size fits all. That doesn't apply. This is generic advice. It's very, very good advice, but it's generic. It's not tailored to you. So let me know if you've tried something and it hasn't been working. Okay, let's just do a recap of where we are. So session 1, that was like over a month ago at this point. We talked about the performance trap, why being the most capable, the most reliable, the hardest working person in the room, it doesn't get you promoted. If that one hit a nerve, you are not alone. I really, really want you to hear that. Then in the second session, we talked about our strategic value as leaders, how to sound like you are at the next level using clear, outcome-driven communication. You learned about outcome, process, ask, my favorite framework for communication, and why it can be such a game changer. I know some of you have tried it. You've messaged me about it. Outcome, process, ask is a framework and how it's just immediately giving you a different voice at the table, right? And then last week we were on session 3 where we talked about visibility and presence, because your work does not speak for itself. I know it should, but it doesn't. That's the reality of the way we live. You speak for yourself. That's it. Your visibility, your relationships, your executive presence. Make sure that the right people see your impact. And today we're completing the puzzle, because you can be high performing, you can be strategic, you can be visible, you can have that all important executive presence and still not get promoted. It kind of sucks, right? Not because you're not ready, but because your organization hasn't aligned behind your promotion yet. That's the important part here. Here's what no one else is teaching you. And certainly no one's teaching us as women. Promotions are driven by advocacy, not effort. They're driven by sponsors, not just managers. In fact, I'd almost say they're driven by sponsors and not managers. And thirdly, they're driven by things that work for men, but don't work for women. And in particular, promotions are made by people who make decisions when you're not in the room. And that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about what I call the promotion equation. We're going to talk about your sponsorship strategy, your advocacy network, your promotion narrative, and the mindset shift from proving to owning. I want you to just let go. We're going to talk about this more in a bit. Let go of proving your worth and own it instead. You probably already have the right to own it. But when we're improving mode, we've got a problem. So by the end of the day, I want you to understand exactly how promotions actually happen, how to make sure yours does as well. Let's start with something I see over and over again in my coaching practice. If this is you, I want you to know you are in really good company. So many of the brilliant women I work with come to me saying, Toni, I know I'm ready. I'm already operating at the next level. So why isn't anything happening? If you're relating to that, if you've ever felt this way, drop a yes or a heart in the chat. You're doing everything right. And that's amazing. You're delivering outcomes. You're lifting up your team. You're solving problems. You're being the person who's relied upon for everything. People come to you because they trust you. That's great. That's part of what we've been working on episodes 1, 2, and 3 of this. Your work is consistent, high quality, thoughtful, strategic, and yet behind those closed doors, when you're not in the room, you're still being labeled as not quite ready. Let's revisit in this next cycle. She's amazing. Let's keep her where she is. Or the one I hear the most, which breaks my heart. Just keep doing what you're doing, which, by the way, is not a promotion strategy. If somebody is saying to you, just keep doing what you're doing, they do not have your back. They might look like they have your back. They might think they have your back. But if they are saying, just keep doing what you're doing, that's a stall tactic dressed up as encouragement. It is not a promotion strategy. So if you've got somebody who is controlling your promotion prospects who's saying that to you, we have a problem that we need to tackle. Here's the thing. If you're feeling stuck between getting ready and being recognized, it's not because you're missing skills. It's not because you're not strategic enough, visible enough, or senior enough. The real reason is promotions aren't driven by performance. They're driven by advocacy. Let me just say that again. Promotions are not driven by performance. They're driven by advocacy. You've seen this. You've seen underqualified people get promoted. We all have. It irritates the hell out of us. But your next step depends on who is talking about you, how they're describing you, where your name shows up, and how senior leaders are perceiving your future potential, not your current competence, your future potential. Most high performers get this backwards. We think if I work harder, if I deliver more, if I prove myself one more time, then they'll see it. But promotions don't follow the logic of meritocracy. They really don't. They follow the logic of narratives and networks, which is why when somebody says to you, just keep doing what you're doing, it is not a promotion strategy. I call this place invisible readiness. It's when you are ready, you're doing the role above and beyond, but the organization hasn't built the alignment around you. The story hasn't spread. The right people haven't heard your name yet. The narrative isn't circulating. If that's where you are, there is something wrong and it's not you. You're not behind. You haven't failed. You simply reached the part of your career advancement discussion where what you've been told to do isn't working. No one teaches you what to do in this situation. And I want to change that today. So here's what we're going to look at today. Here's how we're going to solve this. We're going to look at how it actually drives your promotion, the map of influences who shape your career trajectory that you don't even know is there, how to get your work championed behind closed doors by those very people, and how to shift from proving your value to owning it. Because once you understand those dynamics, you stop waiting and you start leading your promotion like the executive you're becoming. So let's start with something most people misunderstand: sponsorship. Mentorship is guidance. Coaching is support and challenge and helping you to take a good step forward. Sponsorship is advocacy. It is not a mentor. It is not a coach. Somebody who is saying, yeah, I'm mentored by them. They're not necessarily advocating for you. They're not necessarily sponsoring you. A mentor talks with you. A sponsor talks about you in the rooms you're not invited into yet. Do not make the mistake of thinking that because you've got mentors, you've got sponsors. They often overlap, but not always. In fact, as women, we're more likely to be over-mentored in these situations. We are under-mentored early in our career. We're over-mentored in leadership as an excuse for not promoting us. And our mentors who often would be opening doors for others are not opening the doors for women. We know this. There's data out there. It is not rocket science, but it does happen. Here's the crucial part. Sponsors shape who gets promoted. Sponsors influence who belongs in that next level. And sponsors change your career trajectory, not your skill set. They are not helping you become better at your job. They are opening doors for you. If you've been relying on your manager to drive your promotion, that's one of the biggest career myths we need to unwind right here, right now, today. Your manager plays a role. Of course they do. But they are rarely the person who will have the final say. And they're definitely not the person influencing decisions. Most promotions come from multi-stakeholder alignment, especially the further up you go. More and more people will have a say on your promotion. And that means not just your skip level, but cross-functional peers, senior leaders all need to see your potential. This is why I tell my clients, you don't just need a sponsor, you need a sponsorship strategy. So let's break this down. There are 4 types of sponsors. You're like, what? 4? Yes, there are 4 people you need in your orbit. Awareness sponsors, people who know your work, see your impact, and can name your strengths. Then there is access sponsors, people who open doors, invite you into the right conversations, meetings, projects, opportunities. They are giving you access. The third type of sponsor is authority sponsors, people who have the seniority and credibility who can say, yes, she is ready for this level. And believe me, your boss is not that person. It might not even be your skip level. And then there's the 4th type of sponsor, the amplification sponsor, people who repeat your name when opportunities arise, the ones who say, what about her? She should be in this conversation. You don't need one sponsor to do all 4, but you do need all 4 functions happening in your network. One of my clients, I'll call her Anne for today, has been operating at the VP level for nearly 2 years. She came to me recently, having been operating at this level for 2 whole years. Her manager loves her. Her team loves her. Her promotion, though, when she came to me, had been stalled for 2 whole years. This woman was incredibly frustrated. And it wasn't because she was not ready, but because senior leadership barely knew her. The goalposts kept changing. That was the other thing that was always a yellow flag to me. It's not a red flag. It's a yellow flag. She'd be having these conversations and they'd be like, yeah, do these things. And then the next time it'd be another set of things. Here's the problem. The senior leadership barely knew who she was. And the goalposts kept moving because they couldn't articulate what was wrong. She was invisible outside her organization, which meant she didn't have authority sponsors or amplifiers. Once we built her sponsorship strategy, she started demoing across cross-functional wins. She made herself visible in the metrics that mattered to the business, not just to her org, because those are different things. And she intentionally engaged with the right senior leaders. Within 90 days of coming to work with me, her promotion has been approved. It's just been approved in the last 2 weeks. Leadership is saying we should have done this sooner. And that's the power of sponsorship. So I want to ask you something and be honest. Do you know who your sponsors are? I want you to say yes, no, or not sure in the chat. Do you know who your sponsors are? Yes, no, not sure. Drop it in the chat below. If you answered not sure, this is extremely common, and it's also why we're here. Because I don't think most of us are told those 4 types of sponsors, that are awareness, the access, the authority, and the amplification. We aren't told that. We don't even know who might be making these decisions, who can sponsor us behind those closed doors. So I want to break this down. We're going to map out who actually shapes your promotion right here, right now. Get pen, paper, take notes. We're going to map this out. So let's talk about the zooming out, looking at the entire ecosystem that shapes your promotion, because your promotion isn't decided by one person. It's never decided by your manager, by the way. It's decided by a network. And this web of people who influence talent discussions, succession planning, headcount allocation, readiness narratives. They're the ones who get to say something like, yeah, that person's high potential. Let's invest in them, right? When you don't know who those people are, you're in trouble because you're playing the promotion game with half the board hidden. You've got blinkers on, you're blindfolded, you're held up. So let me introduce you to what I call the advocacy alignment map. Think of it as a blueprint for this next promotion that you're working for. There are 3 major zones you need to know. Your manager, they give you input, gathers data, but cannot single-handedly approve a promotion. The second zone, your skip level and a senior leadership. They shape the conversation around your potential, about your potential. So skip level, senior leadership at your skip level. And then thirdly, the third and very important zone, the one most of us ignore, is cross-functional influencers. The people who say, we need her at that table. These might be in other departments, product, engineering, ops, finance, sales, HR, project stakeholders, or even partners from an entirely different part of the business. The whole point is you're showing that you operate beyond just your scope. You need alignment across all three of these zones, though. Otherwise, promotion stalls. So you need your manager on board, you need a skip level or some other form of skip level senior leadership, and you need those cross-functional influencers. Most of the time, those cross-functional influencers will be at your skip level as well, unless your skip level is like the CEO. But quite often those skip level influencers are influenced by your peers cross-functionally. Your peers need to be advocating it. She's really easy to work with. She's the best person. Get stuff done, but then also be visible to those cross-functional influencers. We're going to come back to this in a minute, because here's where it gets interesting, but also painful. Most women never hear about the thing that derails promotions, what I call the silent veto. This happens when one senior leader doesn't fully trust you yet. They're in a room making a decision about who's getting promoted. Someone hasn't seen enough of your strategic thinking. A skip level hasn't had exposure to your work. A cross-functional partner isn't convinced you're ready. Everyone else is on board. But that unspoken hesitation kills the conversation about your promotion dead, and they quietly, invisibly, without feedback, move on to another person. One person has a silent veto, which is I've not seen anything from her. That's it. You'll never hear why. You will never hear, we didn't promote you because of X. You will just hear vague feedback such as, not this cycle, or just keep doing what you're doing. That's the worst. This is why you need the advocacy alignment map, not to impress everyone, but to ensure no one in that room is surprised by your readiness. There is no silent veto. Everybody's like, of course. It is not surprising. It is a foregone conclusion. So I want you to map this out. I want you to draw a triangle. At the top of your triangle, I want skip level senior leadership. That determines readiness and allocates promotion spaces. Bottom left, your manager. They provide the data, the examples, the performance evidence. They got to have your back. Well, there are ways around that. If your manager isn't in your ball court, we can have a chat about that one. Most of the time, your life is a lot easier if your manager has your back. There are exceptions where you can get promoted without your manager's backing, but it's very hard. And then bottom right of the triangle, cross-functional and horizontal leaders. They validate your leadership presence, strategic thinking, your influence. Your goal is not to be best friends with everybody there, but your goal is to ensure that people shaping the decisions have seen your work, heard you speak, experienced your leadership, felt your strategic value. They know who you are and the input you have and the output you create. They can advocate for your potential, and they're never going to be the silent veto, right? Those three corners of your triangle, I want you to fill them in. Who is the skip level senior leadership? Multiple people potentially. Your manager, you know who that is. Can they provide the data? Can they provide examples? Do they have performance evidence for you? And then that cross-functional horizontal leaders who should be having an influential say on whether you get promoted. Have a think. If you can speak to your manager about it, have a conversation with your manager about who is in the room. But if not, think outside the box. If you were in your skip level shoes and think about promoting you, who should be involved in that conversation? Which cross-functional partners, horizontal leaders should be involved, because they're going to be working with you at that next level. I want you to make room for this. I want you to make room for how you shape your future. And I want you to think about who should be in that room and how can you make sure you are known to everybody in that room, right? Picture that one room where this is being shaped. It might be a meeting with some cross-functional horizontal leaders, a staff meeting, a leadership sync with peers, a quarterly planning room, a calibration conversation. How can you make sure that all three corners of that triangle, you are influencing the right people so they can advocate for you? Who in the room influences your next step? When are you in the same room as them? I would love to know if you've already got names in mind. Drop some emojis in the chat if you know the names that you need to be tackling. You don't need to put them publicly. I just want to know, have they been identified? Then ask yourself, do they see my strategic value? Have they heard me frame impact clearly? Remember, outcome, process, ask, right? Have they seen me operate at that next level? Do remember what we were talking about last week? Presence, right? Visibility and voice and presence and how you hold yourself. Is everybody on that triangle seeing you operate up there? And do they know the trajectory you're on and what it means for the company? If not, that is your focus. Everybody in that triangle needs to see your potential, not just your manager, not just your skip level, but everybody in that triangle. So now you can see how this network around your promotion is so important. We're going to talk about how to shape the story that a network is going to tell about you. And that's what's starting with your promotion narrative. It's a 3-sentence story that makes it easy for people to champion you. So you've identified the people, they're going to see you. You now need to give them a promotion narrative that they can use behind closed doors. Because promotions aren't decided through spreadsheets, they're decided through stories. Whenever I work with a job hunter, I always say to them, we need 10 to 20 stories about your impact. And they're like, stories? What do you mean? I'm like, the stories where you took a team, you turned it around. You took a team from X to Y. You had a product problem and you fixed it by doing all these things. These are stories about the challenges you faced, what you did, how you led, and the impact you had, and the lessons learned along the way. The story is what gets you promoted. The story your manager tells, the story your skip level believes, the story your peers and cross-functional partners share about your leadership. If you don't craft that narrative, people will improvise for you. And trust me, those improvised versions won't capture your full potential. They never do. This is what we call the promotion narrative. It's a simple, powerful way to help those around you who are going to advocate for you because you've done the work to be visible, to prove your point, to make it clear that you belong at the table. It is a quick way for them to just see and clearly articulate what you've delivered, how you think, and what you contribute at that next level. 3 sentences, just 3. So let's walk through it. Again, write this down. Sentence 1, the impact sentence. Here's how I moved the business. This is where you're going to anchor your narrative and business results. Not effort, not tasks, not activity. Some examples. This year, I increased customer retention in our priority segment by 7%. My team accelerated time to value by 22% for enterprise clients. I led the turnaround of a high-risk project projecting $4 million in pipeline. This is the moment you show leaders, I know what matters. I know how to move the business. It sets the tone instantly. That's your first sentence, the impact sentence. It has to be impact relevant to the level you're aiming for, not relevant to where you are right now. You're not going for right now, you're going for next level. What impact have you had at that next level that has moved the needle on the business? That's your impact sentence. The second sentence, the strategic value sentence. It's the here's how I think and lead. This is like your operating procedure. It helps them understand your mindset, your leadership capabilities. The things that promotions are really about is that you can lead a team further forward, right? So from examples here, I did this by aligning go-to-market engineering around a shared customer metric. I built cross-functional trust that eliminated rework and sped up decisions. I anticipate downstream risks early and create clarity before execution begins. It shows how you value things, alignment, cross-functional. I mean, they're kind of buzzwords, but it's saying what matters to you. But it also crucially shows your altitude. This is where leaders start thinking, it's not I'm here in the weeds with my team, it's I'm up here solving the problems that impact my team, but also impact this team here. I'm sticking the organization together. And they think, she's already operating at that next level. Don't solve problems down here, solve problems up here. Show your altitude. Sentence 2 has to show your altitude, not just your value. The third and final sentence is your future potential. It's saying, here's where I can deliver next. So promotions are not rewards. They're investments in future impact. You got to stop thinking of this as a reward. So many people come to me saying, I deserve this. I've been here long enough. I'm like, I'm sorry, they don't give out promotions because you've been here a long time and worked hard. They really don't. They give out promotions because they're going to make more money doing that. That's it. Let me just be harsh and true. Promotions are because you are going to make them more money. That can come because you're a flight risk. That does happen, especially with men. But ultimately, it's because they realize it would cost them more money to lose you, so they'll give you the promotion. Ultimately, you have to show them with this third sentence that it's an investment in their future. So here's a couple of examples. With greater scope, I can expand this success across EMEA in the next 6 months. I'm ready to lead cross-org initiatives that reduce churn and shape strategy. I'm prepared to scale this system across the full customer lifecycle. This sentence is about telling people you're not just good at where you are, you're valuable with where you're going. Now, note here, you're trying to create the door, you're trying to create the possibility. Sentence 2 was about showing you're already operating at this level. Sentence 3 should not undermine that. It's really important, it amplifies it. So you don't want to say, I've done this, and I'd like to do this same thing or this thing down here. It's got to go one step higher. It's got to go, I've done this as a proof of concept, this thing that is at that next level, the sentence 2, and I'd like to roll it out further. You're kind of saying, I'm not allowed to do that without the next title, right? It's creating that possibility, amplifying sentence 2 with possibility in sentence 3, showing the impact you're going to have. So let me share with you how powerful this can be. One of my clients came to me. She'd written a previous performance review, completed the migration, onboarded 2 new teammates, reduced operational issues. That was solid, but it's not promotable framing. Here's her promotion narrative after coaching. This year, I stabilized our infrastructure, reducing outages by 40%. Sentence 1. I did that by shifting the team from reactive firefighting to proactive risk planning. Sentence 2. Talking about how she leads. Sentence 3. With a broader remit, I can apply this model across all our core services next. She literally put that in her promotion plan. Her skip level literally said to her, oh, look, you're thinking up there. That's great. Like literally was like surprised that she was thinking this way. In her mind, she came to be so super frustrated after having that conversation with her skip level because she's like, I've always been thinking this way. Why have they not seen it? Because she hadn't said it to them, they hadn't seen it written down. She was reporting tasks. She wasn't communicating leadership. So now I want to know who is going to be putting this together. Sentence 1, which when you talk about your impact to date. Sentence 2, the value you bring, how you lead. And sentence 3, that future potential. Who is using this? I would love for you to drop in the chat. If you want a worksheet, by the way, on this, I do have some worksheets. Drop narrative and a DM to me on LinkedIn, and I'll send a worksheet over. The same worksheet I use with clients to help you see how you can move through this story. Because promotion isn't just about what you do. It's about showing people that they should believe in you because you can move the needle. Okay. Now, as we come, I'm aware I'm totally over time here. I still got more to share with you. There's a couple more things I really want to share with you today. We need to talk about moving from proving to owning, because you need the sponsorship, you need the visibility, and you need a powerful narrative. But none of that sticks if internally you still feel like you have something to prove. And that's this final piece we really need to move on from here. Most of us are in proving mode all the time. We are stuck here as high-performing women. We think we need to earn our promotion through one more win or one more quarter or one more sprint or one more above and beyond. It's earned. And I hope I'm showing to you how hard you work, how much you've earned something doesn't dictate whether you get promoted. It's important to have the capabilities and to demonstrate the outcomes So you have to have done some of it, but ultimately, the reason why some people who are underqualified and not very good at their job get promoted is because they've got the narrative. So I want you to let go of needing to prove yourself, because you are just burning time and energy that is not allowing you to rise. You rise by owning your situation, owning your capabilities, owning yourself, not sitting in proving mode. So let's talk about prove mode. That sounds like, I just need to show them I can do this, or I don't want to rock the boat. I should be grateful I'm even here. I'll take it on. I don't want to let anybody down. I'm not 100% ready yet. They have a point. I need to do more stuff. Proving mode keeps us overworking, overthinking, overpreparing, holding back our real voice. Imposter syndrome tends to go sky high, by the way, in this situation, and taking way too much tactical work. Tactical work is not getting you promoted to a leadership position. Let go of tactical. There are very, very few leaders in the world who can get away with being tactical at the highest levels. And there tends to be a lot of repercussions when they're like that. Here's the hardest part. You will get praised for doing this overwork, for being in proving mode. You will get praised. Thank you. You're great. You're reliable. You're a workhorse. They do not promote a workhorse. And if we now compare it to where I want you to be emotionally, what I call own mode, owning your situation. Own mode is where promotion happens because it sounds like, here's the strategic outcome I'm driving. You are owning what you're doing. My perspective is valuable in this discussion. You own the fact you belong in the room and you have a voice. This decision needs my voice. You know you need to be heard. This isn't the best use of my time. I recommend X. Because guess what? You shouldn't just be doing what everybody else is saying. You should be doing what's right for the business. And owning the fact that I'm already operating at that next level. Owning mode is calm. It's grounded. It's strategic. It's selective, it's intentional, and it's deeply self-trusting, which is why when you really step into this, you have to do the work to let go of any imposter feelings you might have, because you've got to trust yourself. But this is where your leadership becomes magnetic. This is where your presence skyrockets, not because you're doing anything different, but because you believe in yourself. And this is where sponsors take you seriously. This is where senior leaders start to refer to you as one of us. I have one more client to tell you about. Let's call her Jasmine. She is doing the job of a VP as a senior director. Brilliant woman, incredible results. But she told me just the other day, she's like, yeah, I am just not visible to the senior leaders. She felt like she had to earn her place up there. We're moving her to ownership mode, to stop apologizing for her opinions, stop padding her updates with details, stop jumping into the weeds with her boss and her skip level, stop taking on everyone else's problems. And instead, she's speaking earlier in meetings, especially when there are senior leaders and cross-functional leaders in the room. She's framing impact, not activity. She's going out of her way to network with senior leaders because they have decided, for whatever reason, that she shouldn't be owning as much as she is. And she's pushing back with confidence. She's showing vision, not just execution. That is how she shows up as a VP. She's currently going through a promotion round and they're talking differently this time. I can't tell you the results, we're not there yet, but it is different. It's something that she's never experienced before, really owning the level she's at. So let me ask you, what's one belief you can leave behind today? Something about proving mode that you're willing to drop? If you want, drop a phrase or a word in the chat, something you're going to let go of. Because when you shift from proving to owning, everything else we've talked about, sponsorship, alignment, narrative, it all starts clicking into place. And that's where we're heading next. Your promotion roadmap, this system that ties everything together we've been talking about. This is moving from overperforming to advancing. It's where we take what we've talked about in the last 4 sessions, including today, and take this random climb, all these pieces, and go through a sequence. It's a promotion engine. It's a pathway that I use with every single woman I coach who is going for promotion. It is dealing with the promotion trap, letting go of needing to do more work to get promoted, where high achievers like ourselves tend to plateau. It is leaning into your strategic value, learning how to sound at that next level to communicate your impact, not just your activity. It's visibility and presence, learning how to own the value that you make and be seen with it, because credibility only matters when it's visible. And then finally, what we've been talking about today, the promotion equation, unlocking where they actually happen with your sponsorship strategy, your alignment map, your personal narrative, and the identity shift from proving to owning. When you put all these pieces together, you have a holistic strategy that's hugely empowering as a promotion roadmap. I really want you to hear this. You are not missing anything. You do not need another certification. You do not need more years of experience. You do not need someone to give you permission. You need a map. You need the unseen rules. You need the tools to shift perception, not your performance. Your performance is good enough. And now I'm hoping that we've got to the end of this session, you have that. You have a roadmap that senior leaders wish someone had handed them years ago. I found this out the hard way. I had to figure this out for myself. And now I teach it, because this shouldn't be something that's kept for the old boys network. We have a right to this too. I want you to ask yourself, what is the one piece that you're going to focus on first? Sponsorship, visibility, narrative, identity. Drop it in the chat. Make it your next move, because clarity transforms careers, and deciding what your next move is a form of clarity. Own your trajectory. I want you to put this into action with your organization, with your stakeholders in the real world. It's powerful, and that's when magic happens. If you want to dive into this in a free strategy session with me, I would be delighted to work through the playbook with you, identify your personal route, your promotion blockers. I love having those chats. Map out the 1 to 2 shifts that you need to unblock yourself. Just send me the word call in a LinkedIn DM, and I'll send over a link to book that free strategy session. I only ever do a couple of months, but I'll be honored to do that. And if you've not already completed the Promotion Readiness Scorecard, go to tonicollis.com/scorecard. It's a completely free quick quiz with tailored individual results and a roadmap to getting you to your next promotion. It's like literally 3 to 5 minutes to complete it. And you're going to get a PDF with these are the things to focus on for you. I want you to take a moment to celebrate you. Whether you've joined this one session or all 4, I will pop in the chat below this the links to the other 3 sessions so you can watch them all on replay. I want you to celebrate that you showed up. You've invested this time in your future. That is a step that so many of us don't take. I'm so incredibly proud of you for showing up. Your career, your voice, your leadership, they all matter. And this space is about pointing out that you can do something with this. I'm going to be back in the new year with a brand new series. It's going to be incredible. Been planning it already. But until then, let's dive into this promotion playbook. Make it your own. Keep owning your leadership. Keep taking up the space you deserve to take up. And thank you for being here. Thank you for rising with me. I'll see you all in January. Bye for now.